Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a Voice from Ukraine. We're here live with Oleksandr. This is a special breaking Voice from Ukraine because we have a lot to discuss with you today. Um, Donald Trump has just, for those of you that might be listening or hearing news coming out about Donald Trump possibly meeting with Vladimir Putin, talking about possible peace talks. Well, we're going to break it down and tell you what really is going on and what's transpiring. First of all, I want to bring your attention to that if you noticed that just a few days ago, Donald Trump, there was breaking news all over the place about Donald Trump sending nuclear subs over to the Russian region because of what ex-president Medvedev said. I told you folks, we told you this was all theatrics. This was all being played out because you hear nothing more about it. But it was done for other reasons out there to see what's happening. And now the theatrics are turning out to be something very, very serious. And let us tell you what's happening. So first of all, what our sources are telling us that this plan that is about to come out, and we're going to give you some of the plans. Donald Trump is about to have a press conference either later on today or tomorrow, and he's going to talk about some of the concessions and part of a supposed truce peace plan that is that is right now trying to be brokered between Ukraine and Russia. First of all, let us explain to you that this is a deal that has not been being brokered. It is being pushed. It's being shoved down the throat of the Ukrainians, being shoved down the throat of President Zelensky. And I'm curious to speak to Alex to see your thoughts on this and what's going on in Ukraine. But let's get into basically what happened. So, for those of you that have been following us and listening to, we've been telling you this is all about money. It's all about power, all about mineral rights, all about oil, gas, and stuff like that. Russia has been in a major, major decline. Their economy has been going, and we've been telling you that from those of you that listen, that Russia is not doing well. Even though the media keeps talking about Russia is winning the war, they're succeeding. No, they're not. They're at almost a total collapse. So they hatched this plan. And this plan was basically to go around, and with Steve Witkoff, they came up and gave him a pretense to a plan that Russia would take as a deal. And they told him this is a plan that is possible that Ukraine might be willing to take. Then they sent Witkoff back to the United States, where Witkoff then and Trump relayed this information to the EU. Also, they spoke about this with Zelensky about the possibility of which territories, and we're going to get into some of the points in a second. And when mostly everybody agreed except for the Ukrainians, because Zelensky turned around and said that he can't make these concessions without the parliament, without going back and getting approval from the parliament. Everything stalled, and this is where we are right now. Because Steve Witkoff basically went back, and as you saw yesterday, today there was no tariffs. There was no secondary tariffs that were placed onto Russia. That was also all a game just to be able to get India to the table, and which he did. And you saw that yesterday he put 25% tariffs on India, not 500% like Lindsey Graham and the Senate wanted, not 100% like he promised to be able to hurt Russia and the war machine, but 25% just enough to hurt India in his tariff war with them, but not hurt Russia in any way. And now, just now in the press conference, he said that he is planning on announcing a joint meeting where he's going to meet with Vladimir Putin, and that they're close to doing a deal with Ukraine. This is another example of doing a deal without Ukraine in the room. He's basically pumping it up. This is a narrative trying to put Ukraine in a corner where all of a sudden Putin wants peace, Trump wants peace. I mean, and just to get off track just for a second, and I want to apologize, but the display that we watched right now, for those of you that got a chance to see it, if you didn't, make sure when you get home, I'm gonna write a Substack letter later today, and in there I'm gonna put a video of some of the stuff that went on in the press conference. The ass kissing, it was just disgusting watching two leaders of two different countries. And look, I want to start off by saying any peace is great, and I hope that this peace deal that they brokered, that it was real. I hope because that is a war that's been going on for a long time. Millions of people have been died in that war, and nobody wants that. But I don't believe that was just looking at all three of their faces and knowing him very well. I know Ali know his relatives very well that are, they have very close relationship with, a lot of gas station, a lot of the energy in Ukraine through Sokar, which is one of the major Azerbaijani oil and gas companies. So I know these players very well, and I just somehow watching it play out, and it was more of a press conference to push for a Nobel Peace Prize, because that's what it's all about. All of these things, these band-aids, these, supposed, these are not real peace deals. All of these things, are like, just like in the Middle East, it's on the verge of exploding, and it is exploding. I mean, he's back to, giving up, saying Bibi Netanyahu take over all of Gaza, back and forth seesawing, and now we're in Ukraine, where he's basically uh, 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 concocted this shadow diplomacy deal. And let me tell you some of the things that my sources are telling me are in this proposed deal that they're talking about. So they're talking about temporary truce with Ukraine, not a full peace deal, but a temporary truce. Now, what that means is that there's a ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine, and it stops right. The fight stops where it is now. And that's important to talk about because if you've been following us and you've been watching the reporting me and Alex have been doing, that while all of these conversations are happening, while all of these theatrics are playing out, Putin is consistently bombing Ukraine, consistently pushing, attacking, killing civilians, psychological warfare, to the point where he's also pushing in some areas that we've reported on, where he's making a strong push to take. And those areas, there's now we see the reasoning for it, because part of this deal would be a stoppage of wherever. So wherever Putin is, it's like, that game when the music ends, wherever you're in, you sit down. That's basically what they're playing. So that's part of the first concession. The second one would be postponing the status of occupied Ukrainian territories for 49 or even 99 years, basically effectively leaving them under Russian control for decades. So that's why it makes so much sense for them to push so hard to get more territory, because in this agreement, it would basically just put a freeze to everything. And we're going to get to why I can't wait to hear, Alex, your opinion about all of this, because it's just mind boggling that how Russia thinks, or that even if Zelensky would even push it, because I understand we need to stop the war. I understand the bloodshed, but this is not stopping the war. This is basically just, putting a pause on it and then giving up the rest of Ukraine and everything a few months or a year later. The third thing is gradual lifting of most U.S. anti-Russian sanctions. So
Yep.
just here we go. This is now it gets interesting. So part of the deal would be that the U.S. Would have to gradually lift all of the sanctions against Russia. Here's the money game contents. Number four, possibly the resuming of energy imports from Russia over long term. Now I'm going to remind you something. With Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2, does that ring a bell? Because it looks, remember we were talking about this is something Trump was talking about, the Woodcock. These are some of the conversations happening. And also keep in mind that if the fighting stops right where it is right now and Russia takes over Ukraine, remember that mineral deal that Ukraine has with Russia? I mean, with America. Remember, it doesn't make sense because Russia would take over all the minerals. So basically, Ukraine would end up with a chunk of territory that would be worthless. Most of the territory that would have any value from minerals, oil, or from the ports, strategic, would basically all be wiped out and be under Russian control, and then Ukraine would be left with a bunch of land that is all destroyed, beat up, and with a lot of displaced people. That's part of the deal. What Russia, what America, and this is the funny part, the 5 and 6, because it's put in there to fluff it up to make it look like this is like a fair deal. So number 5, no commitments from the U.S. to halt NATO expansion. And we need to stop right there for 1 second because I want to read that again. No commitments from the U.S. to halt NATO expansions. Are you kidding me? I thought that's the main reason we're at war here because, Biden, Ukraine, the expansion, NATO, Ukraine, now Trump. Remember, Trump always came out, every single conversation. Trump always said that Ukraine never. That's not even a starting point. Ukraine will never be in NATO. NATO never. This is why, and now all of a sudden, the U.S. Trump, they're throwing that in there to show you that, we back Ukraine. There's a possibility. This is the carrot they're hoping that the Ukrainian people are so stupid. And I hope this is what Zelensky doesn't try to sell to them right now, basically saying, well, look, we have a chance to still become NATO and blah, blah, blah. So that's bullshit. And here's another interesting one. Number 6, no promises to stop military aid or support to Ukraine. Okay, interesting. What does that mean? Because right now, as we know it, the way Trump structured the military aid, the way he structured the support that's going to aid, doesn't come from the United States. It's supposed to be bought through NATO. It's a very complicated situation, and it's also, if there's a ceasefire, then there would be no aid needing to be purchased to it. So then all of a sudden, all of this military aid gets diverted to other places in the world, and all of a sudden now Ukraine is stuck there holding what? They got no military aid because nobody's going to give them nothing because they're in the midst of a ceasefire or whatever, that truce or whatever you want to call it. Nobody's going to invest any money in there to rebuild it because you're literally is still in a war-torn situation that could happen anytime. So, I mean, I don't see in any way how strategically this helps Ukraine. But the only thing, and I would say this is all bullshit, Alex, except for one thing. The one thing I'm gonna say to you is watching Trump, the way he couldn't hold it in his pants. He wanted to announce something right now. He couldn't hold it, and I think he's going to announce something today or tomorrow early. I mean, he can, and I'm gonna make phone calls after we get off the doing this live, but he can't hold it in his pants. There's something that he already knows. He has some news that he is wanting to announce that has to do with where he's gonna meet Putin and something to do with Ukraine. And the other thing, he also said it out loud today, which is factual. He said that, look, Zelensky has some work to do because Zelensky, it looks like they've had already the. Huh?
Yeah, he better hurry up. He better do it fast.
Right. Did you see? You saw that, right? No, Devin, Ukraine didn't sign anything yet. This is all what's it called. So yeah, so it's interesting how it's all playing out, Alex. Tell me your take on, because this is what I'm hearing from all of my sources that basically in the past several days, what's been going behind the scenes. And let me tell you, Woodcough. he is truly, 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 Trump's guy. And we're gonna get to
Hello.
some other, no, we're gonna get to some other breaking news later on that I'm working on that has to do with Woodcock and some of the ways and behind the scenes. But truly incredible the way some of these deals are being put together and being pressured. But what's happening? Tell us what's going. First of all, tell us. I mean, start off with the attacks. I mean, what's happening with? Are you guys are continuously being under attack?
Yes.
And how is this news? What's go
Let,
ahead,
let's
Alex.
start from the beginning. At first, hello,
That's
everybody.
right. Oh, Michael's here. That's right, Michael. You're 100% right. If you want to come up, we'll bring you up in a little bit. But you're
Uh,
right. He's setting up Zelensky. I agree with you 100% for a major fall. Go ahead. Go ahead,
a
Alex.
couple of things. First of all, hello, everybody. God bless everybody. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for caring. And thank you for supporting Ukraine. But it's all business. It's all business. This deal, I'm gonna start from the first.
Go ahead.
This, I watched this press conference in the White House. I mean, it's a shameful press conference. I mean, when you have two presidents, you just signed a deal, 35 years war deal, and you start bragging how you stopped the war someplace, and then you even go on and saying that you stop in World War III in Ukraine on drugs. Anyway, but he did not stop the war. This was a business deal, and the business deal called TRIP. They signed the TRIP deal. I'm just gonna read 2 points out of this deal, if you don't mind. First, the United States will receive exclusive rights from Armenia to develop this corridor to be branded as a Trump route for international peace and prosperity. Not only that, TRIP will be under U.S. control, providing the foothold for strategic crossroads bordering Russia, Turkey, Iran, and Europe. And the third, American logistic, energy, and infrastructure companies will gain new commercial opportunities while Washington strengthens its geopolitical influence, pushing aside traditional mediation such as Russia and France. So this goes on, but this is enough. This, it wasn't about peace. It was about a business deal. And listen, money talks, bullshit walks. Excuse my French. Same thing is with Ukraine. With Ukraine, but Ukraine is a setup. It's a setup. It's all the same deal. Same thing we talked about. Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. This is all about that. 6 months ago, when he got in, the deal was they started, as you remember, the pressure on Ukraine city started. The reason you start the pressure is to get people to the point that they would accept any other choices that they would originally accept. Then he pushes Europe to pay for all Ukraine expenses. Now, all of a sudden, Russia, from my sources, Russia's on the verge of collapse. I mean, totally.
Absolutely.
I mean, totally,
100%.
totally. So Russians, they're always thinking they're coming up with this brilliant plan. They send it there. He sent it back with Witkoff. Then they send it back because Trump knew the answers before even Rubio did.
Oh, Rubio has no idea what's going on.
Yes,
Rubio,
so
Rubio has.
here's what happens. Here's what happens. Trump right after that he calls Europe, he calls Zelensky, he talks with them. He says, okay, let's make this deal. So now, if Europe is part of the deal that has been signed, then later on, one of the points in this deal is to let Russia sell its energy. And
That's
the way they can sell the energy is to Nord Stream 1 and 2. And if Europe is part of brokering the deal, how can it ever refuse it? So that means that number 18 sanctions that was taken would have to be changed. So this is a setup. This is a total setup. And I don't think Zelensky is going to be able to get that approved to give up any territories.
and for those of you that are saying like, why would even Zelensky, or I mean, here's the carrot that they're dangling in front of in front of Ukraine and Zelensky. First of all, like Alex said, just like they're doing here in the United States, it's the same thing. they've beat and the people of Ukraine to such a degree that a lot of people just are just so tired of dying, tired of starving, tired of getting bombarded every day. Just are willing to do
They
anything
have
for their what's it called. So because of that, they've driven these people to that degree. Same thing is happening here with our constitutional rights. If you think about all the constitutional rights that they're taking away from us here every day, that we already are willing to give up certain things just for them not to take away other things. Same thing's happening out there. It's all about the strategical thing, and now is coming the punch. Go ahead, Alex.
so that this is all a setup. This is all a setup, and basically, if if Ukraine cannot sign this deal, then he's going to run us as well. Russia's ready.
That's right. And that's why they put in there. I'm sorry. That's why they put in there that NATO is on the table. See, this is very important. This is what's going to basically be. They're going to try to dangle and say, "Well, listen, we're not taking away. What did you? We're telling you, and Russia's agreeing that you still have the availability to become a NATO country." But
With
if
res-
you listen to what Alex just said to you, that would never happen. Why? Because Ukraine becomes useless to everywhere. Because if Russia takes over all of this parts of Ukraine, the wealthiest when it comes minerals and everything, Ukraine just becomes a landmass. But Russia then controls the energy flow with Donald Trump and the United States dealing which goes back to Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 through Germany, and now Ukraine, their pipeline through Poland is not needed anymore.
and now they have
Now
and Azerbaijan,
and now they have Azerbaijan. Exactly. Thank you.
Iran,
Iran, they have Iran,
ev-
Azerbaijan.
everybody. They have the whole belt. They have the entire belt.
And
That's
they
what they want.
basically then will control all the energy in Europe, and they will basically control Europe, and Ukraine will become worthless and useless. I mean, eventually the people will, want themselves will want to become part of some because if you think about it, if you freeze it, what does the Ukrainian people? I mean, it's still not going to change anything except for maybe rockets flying across the world, but when it comes to the quality of life and basically being able to move forward, you're not going to have that during this time period.
No, that this is it's a listen. It's a setup, and not only that this is a setup to walk away from it. This is a setup to walk away from it
No,
because
it's not to walk away from. Let me just reframe because for the viewers, it's basically cornering. It's putting Zelensky in the corner because it doesn't matter what Zelensky does, he
you
doesn't
don't
win.
do.
Yeah, it's like he's a loser either way. Because if he accepts the deal, obviously then it's game over. Russia wins, and we move on. If Zelensky all of a sudden doesn't take the deal, then you're going to have Donald Trump coming out, and I promise you, he'll probably stop even allowing weapons to go through NATO, and saying that Ukraine does not want peace, and Ukraine doesn't want to stop this war. That's why we're saying he's cornering
Stop.
you.
Who stop him?
Huh?
Who is to stop him?
Really? That's what
The
I
the,
mean.
the the only way to stop all this madness is to spread the word, spread the news, and people's energy. If people get up and stop listening to all these nice stories, because the man was blabbling, the man was blabbling, and
Not only that, but you know what pisses me off? How come we lost completely? We have no journalism in the control. So first of all, even the questions that are being asked, if you take a look,
they're
who's
like this.
being allowed to ask the questions? These are all right wing mega journalists. There's no independent journalist that's allowed to ask a question. And then even some independent journalists that are allowed to ask a question, they're not asking the questions. You know what I'm saying to you?
Oh, but
They're
they the voice almost shake as they ask the question. And one journalist from Azerbaijan asked the question, which was very
From
serious.
Armenia, from Armenia, she asked,
But
a girl from Armenia.
and he says, "Where are you from?" Very smart question, because nobody in America would ask that question.
That's what I'm saying to you. They're like they're because they're the questions are being set. You got Peter Ducey from Fox, and then you got whatever the other guy's name is that is Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend or wherever he is the other one, and they're all setup questions. And the questions were basically about if you took a look about the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, you had you had a few you had a few questions about journalists that asked them about Russia and where they're going to meet, and if Zelensky and what is the ground, and then the other were like, why do you should win the Nobel Peace Prize, and then watching. The other two jump in; those two presidents jump in and just flare.
Uh,
And Trump
but
sitting there saying, "I know nothing about this." Although such nice, I mean, it was just, again, playing with people's lives because for him, it's all about theatrics. It's all about getting the attention. It's all about winning. But, in the meantime, there's other disgusting wild. Just think about this, Alex, if I may bring up another subject and then I'll let you go into it that really is disgusting. It turns my stomach inside out, guys. And this is why, right, we need your support. This is why we need you right now to be our extension of our voices and go out there, smash these hearts, take that little box like my brother Michael Cohen says, and send it far and wide, share wherever you can, because we need to make our voices loud because the media is not talking about this stuff. The media is not reporting on it. So we need you guys to become subscribers. For those of you that can become paid subscribers, because trust me when I tell you, fighting disinformation is not easy, not cheap, and it is very dangerous, especially when you got people on the other side that are willing to go to any extreme and do anything to shut us up. Because the stuff we're telling you guys is stuff that neither Trump or Putin or any of these people want to come out because information is key. And that's the one thing they're trying to do is censor information, shut down independent journalism. So that's why we need you guys, we need you out there to be our extensions of our voices, and we need you guys to do it. So for those of you that are subscribers, thank you. God bless you for all your support, for all you do for Ukraine, for us. For those of you who have not yet, please join, subscribe, become paid subscribers, contribute any way you can because each and every one of you it could do something and needs to do something because we're at war not just for our liberty and freedom, but our democracy and for the future of our kids. I mean, and leading to when I say kids, this is what I wanted to tell you because this is why this is also very important while they're talking about this fake peace deals, while they're talking about money, while they're talking about all this stuff, the one thing none of them talk about, Donald Trump never mentions. He talks about soldiers dying. But he never talks about the kids. He never talks about the kids. Remember we keep mentioning Olga was on here. Me and Alex talked about. We told you there's no peace deal without these kids, and that's why I'm interesting to see because I haven't saw this in the reporting I'm getting. So we're gonna interesting to see how. But there was over 20,000 kids that Russia stole literally stole. They stole these kids and they took them and they what's it called? And today, what Alex showed me, and I'd like for Alex for you to speak about this a little bit more. But what Alex showed me, and I'm going to write a Substack letter later on with videos and pictures and all kinds of proof. So for those of you, make sure to keep an eye out for you to see with your own eyes. But they have a website actually, a website in Russia set up where to adopt these kids. Alex, why don't you just jump in? Tell me what's going on, bro. I
well,
mean, because I'm disgusted to even hear the shit.
this
While they're
this is like this is uh, the department that used to work on this was in U.S. and it got dismantled. The funding got cut, so nobody's following these children.
oh,
Now,
so
now
this is a. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alex, because I'm sick to it. So this is another. Remember one of those cuts and all of this that Trump, like like he said, he's putting on sanctions, but he can't follow because there's no department. So basically, there was the United States had a department set up looking into these abducted kids, children that were stolen during the war by Russia aggression. And then when Trump came in, he dismantled that. He dismantled this department. So there is nobody right now looking into or holding Russia accountable for these over 20,000 kids that we know of, but probably a lot more. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Here's what they do. They had in Russia. They have a website, and this website is sickening. They have a bunch of pictures of the kids, and it's like when you press on any picture, you get a description. And I'm gonna read you just one of them. I just pulled randomly. Uh, the Ukrainian kid Stanislav, his physical condition is acceptance to his age. He's 15 years old. He's very he plays a lot of sport. He's smart. He's impulsive. He's very good in conversation, and he loves football again. And he takes part in all the things that are going on in school. So he would be a good investment, so to speak. That's how they advertise children on the website, so people can adopt Ukrainian children. It's a
I
website.
see.
This is I just came up on it today, and it's uh, there's a picture of a bunch of kids, different ages, and you just press, and it opens up what they're all about, and the context and everything else. This is like this. I don't know. I don't know what to call this, slavery or not even. I
No,
mean,
it's beyond slavery. It's authoritarianism. It's child trafficking. It's disgusting. I mean, just think about the sickness between Russia stealing these kids and doing this on the websites, and here at home we have the sick bastard Trump defending child pedophiles, covering up Epstein files. Again, kids as young as 12, 13-year-old girls that were basically raped, thrown, around in these, what's it called, sex parties, you know, and again, there's nobody there to speak for the victims, for the children, because they dismantled all the everything. Not nobody here because they're covering it up, trying to rewrite history, and now they simultaneously they're doing the same thing here, and nobody's talking about it. None of the reporters are brave enough to say, except Mr. President Trump, you're talking about peace. You're talking about why is it, where are the kids? Where are the 20,000 kids that Russia took? Has anybody spoken to Putin about that? Has anybody even brought up that question?
nobody even
No.
mentions that.
Nobody even mentions it. That's how disgusting it is.
But the thing is, Lev, if you go back to like 2016, 2017, with all this QAnon and all this theories, and when Trump was standing and they all said like all the MAGA, beginning of MAGA, you know more about that than I do, and they were all screaming, "We're gonna lock up all the pedophiles, we're gonna clear the Hollywood, we're gonna do this." Nothing was done. Plus, in America, as you said, they're harboring the sex abusers, and in Ukraine, I mean, in Russia, nobody even mentions that 20,000 children was taken, and now they be on the website. I mean, what kind of Nobel Peace Prize? What kind of humanitarian? What kind of peace are you talking? These are the children. Not only that, well, this is about that, but while they're talking, as you know, I took a big part in rebuilding Bucha, and we did a lot of work for helping Bucha. Bucha is what got me going, because when I saw what I saw in Bucha, after liberation, it turned my stomach, and I remember the day I said, "Now you got me. Now you got me to stand up,"
Just
because
Bucha, just for those of you that don't know, Bucha was the very first city on the front line on its way to Kiev that was massacred,
it's
literally
almost
wiped out, destroyed, pillaged. They raped kids, women, burned everybody to the crisp. There was nothing left, literally, of a town of tens of thousands of people that were destroyed on their way to Kiev, and this is Bucha, where Alex spent the very first months of the war, bringing aid, helping, and then eventually
built it.
helping
We
rebuild it,
almost built it.
rebuild it.
But not only that, what the civilians were telling me is that. In the church, in one of the places that there were people in the basement. And what they would do is they would just open the door and then throw a grenade and close the door and walk away. I mean, the things they did, I don't want even want to go into that. The things they did. I mean, the kid was running to get some water, and they were trying to shoot him. It's like they're playing a video game. I mean, they did crazy things. But anyway, last night, it's been quiet in Bucha. Last night, Bucha got hit. It was strategic drone attack on Bucha, and ever since 22, this is like one of the first times, but it was strategic. It was strategically done, and they continue to push Dnipropetrovsk. They continue to push Kharkiv. They bombing and they
Uh,
are
Alex, how close? Just give people an idea, just so they understand geographically how close we're talking about. Like Bucha, how close is Bucha to Kiev?
I'll tell you one thing. If you take Manhattan and you take Brooklyn, they are further apart.
Okay, so just so for people that don't know Manhattan and Brooklyn, that's about
Okay,
7 miles. So
West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale.
okay, well, just let's do a mileage. Okay, you're talking about it's less than 10, 15 miles apart, basically.
Well, it takes me about 20 minutes to get there by
Right.
car.
So basically, it's under 10 to 15 miles away from the center, from Kiev, from what
Well,
basically,
well, that's
and
not.
this,
Yeah. Well,
and
well, I
then,
would say Bucha is the suburbs of Kiev.
right. That's a great. And this is where strategically, this is where the first attack, when they first came in 2022,
Yeah.
this is where they came through because they had to go through Bucha to get to Kiev. And remember, when it all started, they were going to take Kiev in 3 days. And this is they basically steamrolled through Bucha and got stuck in Bucha. Bucha
Not
basically
not
was
just
like,
having to, not just stuck. You remember? I'm sorry. Let me.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Lev,
Yeah.
Lev used to call me and says, Alex, what are you doing in Kiev? He says there is a 40-mile column coming towards Kiev. He says, what are you doing there? And when that 40-mile of artillery, and I mean not artillery, the tanks, the RVs and all, when they came to Bucha, as they came in Bucha, they shot the first one. Ukrainians shot the first one, shot the last one, and they shot. This was the first stoppage that was made in Bucha. It was like a history because there's a street called Vokzalna. Vokzalna is the whole street was destroyed, and it was rebuilt, and it was a monument built because that was the first stop. Bucha was like a first stop, but the whole column got destroyed, and then they start pushing them back and back and back, and eventually they liberated Bucha.
I remember that like yesterday. I remember we were watching it on TV here in the United States live as they showed this 4 or 40, I don't know how many, but this long 40 mile, 4 mile long of Russian soldiers, tanks heading through Bucha, that they were heading into Kiev and basically saying that's it, it's over. Ukraine's going to fall in the next 24, 48 hours. They were talking about Zelensky's hiding. He fled Kiev. I remember like yesterday, and I called Alex and I said to him, "You got to get out of there." I was actually at home confinement under house arrest. I had an ankle bracelet, and I was calling him and I was saying, "You got to get out of there because they're coming." And that was actually the stance that Ukraine took, and that's why we're here today. Because otherwise, it would have been over. And like Alex said, strategically they shut him off in the front and cut him off in the back, and then they
And they just
basically were able to
but
uh, and the Russians weren't ready also because they had the wrong information. They were told that they're going to come in there to liberate, that they were going to be welcomed in, and that was not the case. They were sent in there with 1942 tanks and stuff that started falling apart, getting stuck in the. I mean, it was just a shit show beyond shit shows. Watching it, but Butcher was the what got hit the hardest at that point. I
yeah, but
remember that.
not only that, all the vehicles that had the parade uniforms in them. They all had parade white uniforms because they thought they're gonna come in 3 days
Yeah.
and get in. I remember I used to go on the balcony just to hear it, and I would hear gunfire on one end, gunfire on like a machine gun fire. That's how close it was. I heard it at night, and I would like stand behind the concrete wall just in case, because bullets are stupid. They fly all over the place. But and they hit in Bush again. But today's been for the first time. For the first time since with Witkov's visit to Moscow, it was not a massive attack yesterday.
Really
First time.
interesting.
Because the
Be-
game, because Lev, as bad as it sounds, but whatever the plan they put together, they are closing it in. They are closing it in. They're getting closer and closer and closer. And right now, I believe the next 2 weeks is crucial, because to see what kind of response is going to come from Ukraine, and what kind of whatever this offer right now we getting, supposedly got leaked out to European newspaper, and that's where all the information that I got from. But eventually they're going to have to open that information. Eventually it's going to become public. So it all depends. What right now, again, all the eyes on Ukraine. Again, everything, all the lights on Ukraine to see what Ukraine does. But I believe anybody. I said that before, and it's in the Constitution. Anybody who gives up country's land is subject to. I don't even want to continue. What kind of subjects are there? So nobody's allowed to give up the land.
No,
Uh,
yeah, no, he's dangling Zelensky in front of there that they will get at least they'll give up some land, but then they'll have the opportunity to get into NATO with the rest, which is
alone.
total bullshit. But that's why you see that's why my sources are saying that's why the language is in there. I'm curious to see what the newspapers in Europe reported to see if it's similar, and if you could send me that, Alex, that would be great because I want to compare to see what I'm hearing and what they leaked also over there to compare to be able to get
But
over here.
guys, but Ukraine. Somebody wrote on our Substack that Ukraine is just the tip of the iceberg, and whoever wrote this is 100% correct, because there is a lot larger, bigger deal going
Yeah,
on.
no, it's Europe. Europe. They
And
want to control Europe, and that's what they sold Trump.
remember what Lynch said. And Lev, can you remind people who Lynch is? The closest guy to Trump.
Oh, I don't know if he's the closest guy to Trump, but he was.
Well, well,
He's the
well they're saying he's close to him.
he.
Anyway,
What do you say?
this is the guy that's in charge of that was working on the deal with Nord Stream 1 and 2, and he made a statement, official statement. He says eventually the war will be over, and the person who resumes the energy supply to Europe is going to be the wealthiest and the most important person in the world, as long as the world needs energy. That was the quote, and this is the main part of the deal, and everything else are just pieces, and they tried every way possible to get this deal back on,
No,
because
I agree with you. I mean, basically, Putin using Trump is going to take control over all of Europe through energy. And he sold Trump a bag of goods, thinking that Trump is going to be a part of that control over Europe and Ukraine, and America is going to be part of it. And what Trump doesn't understand is that Putin will wave and dangle that carrot for a little bit, but at the last second he'll pull it back. And what are you going to do? You're going to go nuclear war? You're going to go World War III now? What repercussions are you going to do, Donald Trump? What are you going to do when he turns around and says no? When you already opened them up, and when he got his economy back, when he got reinstated, where he got a lot of those countries back in the Soviet Union
they'll kick him
back and
out.
string together. Well, I mean, exactly. This is because listen, the number one thing. and this is what Russia, and this is what everybody always asks me: what does Putin or what does Russia have on Donald Trump, folks? You remember that's the number one question everybody asks. What's the compromise? Here you're hearing it exactly. It's Trump's greed for money. It's Trump's greed for power. And they know that very well. They've known that for the past 40, 50 years. And that is what they've been using. They don't need to tell Trump to do this or that. They could manipulate him and use him like a useful idiot that he is, a useful tool that he does, because Donald Trump is craving to be like Vladimir Putin. Is craving to be like Kim Jong Un. Is craving to sit here and not have to bow down to the American people or to the press and try to ask for his Nobel Peace Prize. He wants it to be given to him. He does. He feels like it's part of, he needs it. He deserves it, and everybody needs to bow down to him. And that's what he's trying to play out here at the same time as he's doing all of this. And that's what he's all about.
I'm gonna add little history to it, and because as this war started, I guess I'm already almost a historian on Ukraine history, and this thing between Russia and Ukraine has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and with Kazakhs and everything else. I mean, it's a different story. But the reason I'm talking about that, in the past, in the past, Russia dealt with friends with French, that dealt with English, that dealt with Persians, whatever. They dealt with a lot of people, and every time, as soon as the country came in, build the infrastructure, fix the area, and the production started, they kicked them out. As soon as I mean, the French came in, he built the biggest factory of making trains for the world. They took it from him and killed the factory. Donbass, French came in and put all kinds of factory to put salt, this, and this. They kicked him out and buried the business. Because whatever had to do with Ukraine, they let people in and then they kick him out. So, if the way the history follows, same thing will happen with this deal. They don't like to share. They never share with anybody.
No, there, no. I'm just hoping. I'm just praying that Zelensky and the people in the parliament, the Ukrainian people, stand strong and stand fight and don't allow it to don't allow them to sell out, because that's the only line of defense right now. Because watching his face, watching his smirk, I could tell you he couldn't hold in his pants, like he wanted to announce something, and get credit for it, but he didn't want to lose the credit that he thought he was receiving because of the today's peace deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan, because they were giving him such credit, but he
That's
was
why.
dying. He was dying. I'd be surprised if he waits till tomorrow, and that's why I think we'll be reporting a lot of stuff still today and going live. And I know it's getting very late over there, Alex, and I know you need to get your rest. It's past 1 o'clock in the morning. I want to thank you for doing this breaking exclusive with us right now to get everybody up to speed on this Friday. For those of you, we have a little over close to 1,000 people here right now. A lot of you that joined, that I'm going to put this back out later on so you could rewatch it. For those of you that didn't get a chance to watch the whole show, it's important for you to watch it. Make sure, please, every single one of you out there, the least, and we're asking each and every one of you to do, is to spread this message, to copy and paste it every another platform. Send it to people that you know. Let people know what's happening behind the scenes, because in the next day, later today, tomorrow, Trump is going to come out, make these theatrical moments. The media is going to jump over it. You've seen this play out for since the moment I've joined Substack, since we've been reporting to you. It's been the same routine. For those of you that have been following us since then, subscribing, supporting, God bless you, and thank each and every one of you for your donations to our GoFundMe's that we've been able to do to help people in Ukraine, to your subscriptions that you do. It all matters. The paid subscribers, you're our lifeline. God bless each and every one of you. For those of you that are new, have not joined yet or are thinking about, Please, now is the time. Now is the time for us to get bigger, stronger, louder. Now is the time for you to be an extension. And I know I say it all the time, but we need you to be an extension of our voice, Ukraine's voice, the people, the victims, the people that are suffering, not only in Ukraine, but here in the United States, the survivors from the Epstein files, all of the victims. You are an extension of our voice for all of the cover ups, all of the corrupt, all of the shadow diplomacy, as I say, that's being played behind the scenes by the axis of evil that is controlled by Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and their pal Bibi Netanyahu. I know. So I want to say with that, please stay vigilant. There's a lot of breaking news coming, so make sure to set your alerts on. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to pass it off. I know the weekend's coming. I want to wish everybody a great weekend, and hopefully, it doesn't get too crazy. But I kind of doubt it from what I'm hearing from my sources. I think we'll be going live again and speaking to you. So stay tuned. And for those that if I don't see you, have a great weekend. Go ahead, take us home, Alex.
Well, listen, it's I listened to to your Substack and yeah, the previous Substack and the things that's going on in America is just as scary as what's going on in Ukraine, in Russia. But except you fighting the war, you don't know who the enemy is. You have an internal war, so it's bad all around, and it's after a while you just it's hard to believe into something, but judging by the last thing that happened in Ukraine with Nabu and Sab, I believe in people. I believe the outcome and the good out of it all will come through people. Did you see how people stood up and within 2 days things got changed? This should be an example to the world. Don't just take it sitting down. Don't just take it laying down. Look at Ukraine. We're getting bombarded every night. We're getting things taken away from us every night. We cannot fly. We have to drive throughout the country. Look how bad it is, but still, as soon as one little law was passed that people did not agree on, everybody got out right away, all over Ukraine. And our president said, "We heard you. We're gonna make a difference." So it works. When people get up, when one finger can be broken, but when people grab, becomes a fist, and fist can punch through anything. So the only way Ukraine can survive, the only way America can survive, the only way the world can survive, if the people get up, get together, and join each other. Once we all joined, we are unstoppable, and we can stop any tyranny, and our kids can live in prosperity and happiness and smile. Thank you everybody for supporting. God bless you all, and I'll be talking to you soon. Slava Ukraini.
Geroyam Slava, and on that, God bless everybody. I couldn't say it better myself. Hope is what we have, and I think together, as we building this platform, as we're staying there, getting out there and protesting and making our voices be heard, we're gonna save our democracy. We're gonna save our world. And I agree with you, Alex, that we have to take an example from people like that are standing up to tyranny all over the world, just like the Ukrainians are. And God bless every one of you. Have a great weekend. Slava Ukraini, Alex.
Героям слава. Thank you.